Alright, Lava, so this is the second video to show you kind of the end result of some of the things I was telling you. Like world settings, that's what my world settings look like. Pretty much everything I told you. The thumbnail, like once you do the high resolution thumbnail, you get the output and then you gotta drag it into the editor somewhere, like say this map thumbs folder I made, and then it makes this red file, a texture file, and then you can slide that into there. That's basically the whole process. Light mask I didn't go over. It's basically really fancy lighting settings that I did. And I put a kill Z in. That's pretty much it. Everything else is default. You can tell that because of the yellow arrow. It pretty much tells you everything that's been changed from default, and you can click it to set it back. That's what that does. This weird stuff you're seeing in the map, these are meshes, so I can't edit them. Initially, they were like BSP actors, and I had like a whole ton of actors. Like this map has 1,500 actors. Originally, it had like 2,000, and you remember people were having like lag issues. Part of that was because I just had too many actors. Like there's a limit. So when I built this out of BSP or this, any of this stuff, like this was a bunch of overlapping BSP, subtractive additive brushes, you know, especially this piece. This was probably like 30, 50 pieces. Yeah, I could select all those and do create static mesh and then clean it up in an editor program and just use this whole thing as one mesh, as one piece. So that's the reason you would use a mesh. Oh, here's an example of a lathe. So this was a 2D green box right here, and I lathed it out in 2D with the pivot like right here, and it made like a quarter of a cylinder, and I set it to subtractive, and that made this elbow. Since I trimmed out the level, I couldn't just leave this as a BSP because getting trim around here on BSP is like impossible on this crazy curvy, like nice shape. So I had to take it and put it into a mesh in a 3D modeling program and extrude that out to get that nice, 50 unit trim to be the same all the way around. And that's the G key I'm hitting right now to turn that on and off. And remember that collision is what's letting you see all the edges. If I turn it off, you can't see them. That's super useful to see like where everything is split apart though. This is like lift exits for the bots and stuff. Don't really worry about that for now. Spectator camera, that's for like when you first load up the level or you're spectating, that's what those do. The pickups are a special actor called power up base or weapon base, and those are like up here. If you open up or ammo too, there's ammo. If you open up a level that already exists like deck test, you'll be able to find all these different actors for different purposes. You got your spawn point, vials, notes. You can put special notes in, so when you build the level, it'll show up down here. Regardless of if there's errors or warnings, you'll have your notes pop up in here. So like here I have a weird note that this wall had to have a 1 centimeter blocker or a 1 unit blocker. So because this was making it weird and I couldn't block it out, these little holes were messing with the wall run. If you want to make an unlocked pad, go down to jump pad section, and you can take out maintain velocity and restrict jump time to 0, which means you can like air control. Oh, this whole helicopter's a mesh. BSP, I turned it into a mesh. Big thing you should know is what sizes things are. I know you said you were looking at the example level, which isn't necessarily what people like, the dimensions that it gave. What I would recommend is getting this material. So if you Google for this title, easy level design for you guys, you're going to find this thread on the forum, and on the last page, the very bottom, I linked this world grid. So get that, extract it, and then go here to content, open and explore, and extract it here. And then, like, these aren't extracted, but they should be. Oh, it's got the full pathing in it, that's why. So I know it'll, when you extract it, it'll have all the folders that it goes to. I'll show you what I mean. So it goes program files, epic, alternate, blah blah blah, all the way. So it's telling you you're supposed to put them in here. Is where they go. And then they will pop up in here. You have one for not lit, which is for if you have lighting in the level, so you can see what's happening, like on the surfacing. So you see what this lets you do is see the sizing of stuff. A block is 100 centimeters. So on lit, you can see lighting effects. If you choose lit, this is for if you have no, it looks like the opposite, but this is surface lit on the material itself. So even if there's no lighting, it's not going to be pitch black. It's going to look like this. It's going to be super bright so you can see what you're doing. So you can run around and kind of see the size of stuff. Just go through this real quick so you can see generally like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 650. Like most of my stuff is between 5 to 800 units. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800. 2, 3, 4, 5, 50. I'll go up here. 250. Exception being little ledges, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But it's cut off. The meshes, you can't just apply materials to them. Like once you do something with a mesh, you have to have your own texture map, your own lighting map, and it gets confusing. But don't worry about it right now. So everything you're seeing that applied is because it's a BSP brush. As far as like the size of rooms go with the overhead, I would say 450. 1, 2, 3, 4, 50. That lets you do this, like even a dodge jump without getting stuck. And the floors, for getting started, 50 can be good, because you're going to find that it's hard to make vertical leveling without feeling like you're way too high. Like this is the third floor right here, and look how high that is already. It's fairly high. Well, with only 50 centimeter floors between the 450 main floors. Another thing you're going to want to do is go into content browser, type in skeletal. Skeletal mesh. You'll find this blue guy, Malcolm. Put him in there, and UT scale is 1.1, and they never changed it, so you have to go and scale here. Type 1.1. It should be 1.1 all across. You can hit Control End. If you just hit End in this case, it doesn't attach them to the floor, right? So you actually have to hit Control End for this one. And you see he's the exact same size. And now if I hold Alt and drag the pivot point and put them in other spots, and I hit End. Whoa, no, what I did there. Oh, this should be surface snapping. This shouldn't be on. My bad. That's why I was doing that craziness. Alright, Control N, turn them, copy them over here, put them up here, Control N. Now you can see a lot better what the scale is when you have the dudes in the map. To make sure your map doesn't get ridiculously big. And basically when I sized this, what I did is I went to like Deadfall or Erase. I just dodged. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kind of got the size of the level that way. But if you want to know in definitive terms, this is middle mouse I'm about to do. It's like, I don't know, 8,000 by 8,500? No, it'd be like 8,500 by 7,000 by like 8,500 or so units is what this map is. I'll show you the diagonal. It's about 9,000 or so. 9,250. No, it would be like right here. Yeah, 9,000 or so. Depends on what you're measuring against. I guess all the way corner to corner would be like 10,000 of where the walkable windows are, where you walk on and go around the corners, the curves. So yeah, sorry, I know this is really jumbled. I'm just kind of like going on the fly, trying to explain it as quickly as I can. So hope that helps, man.